Finding freedom by understanding your reactions. Think about the last time you felt really upset. Maybe it was a surge of anger, a wave of anxiety, a deep pang of sadness, or just that simmering frustration that can hijack your whole day. Where did that feeling truly come from? Our immediate, almost instinctive answer is usually to point outwards. I'm angry because that person cut me off. I'm anxious because I have that presentation tomorrow. I'm sad because things didn't work out the way I hoped. I'm frustrated because the technology isn't working. We naturally link our emotional state directly to the external event or circumstance. It seems obvious, doesn't it? Event happens, feeling follows. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the external event is only part of the equation? What if the real power to shape our emotional experience lies not in the event itself, but somewhere else, somewhere inside us? There's a profound insight echoed by wise thinkers for centuries that suggests exactly this. It proposes that it's rarely the external events themselves that directly cause our distress. Instead, it's the meaning we assign to them, the beliefs we hold about them, the judgments we instantly layer onto them that are the true source of our emotional turmoil. The event happens, yes, but then there's a crucial, often lightning-fast step where our mind interprets that event, slaps a label on it, tells a story about it, and that interpretation, that judgment, is what triggers the feeling. Imagine a simple example. It starts raining unexpectedly. Person A, who was planning a picnic, might immediately think, "Oh no, this is terrible. My whole day is ruined," and feel intense disappointment and frustration. Person B, a farmer whose crops desperately need water, might think, "Wonderful, this is exactly what we needed," and feel relief and gratitude. Person C, who was planning to stay inside and read anyway, might simply notice, "It's raining," and feel completely neutral. The external event, the rain, is exactly the same for all three. What differs dramatically are their judgments about the rain, driven by their expectations and perspectives. And it's those judgments, not the rain itself, that create their distinct emotional responses. Let's break down this process further, because it happens constantly in our daily lives, often below the level of conscious awareness. Event, impression. Something happens in the world, or someone says or does something. This is the raw data, the objective fact. For example, your boss gives you critical feedback on a report. Automatic judgment/belief. Your mind instantly interprets this event based on your underlying beliefs, assumptions, and past experiences. For example, "This means I'm incompetent," or "My boss hates me," or "I'll never succeed here," or "This criticism is unfair." Emotional behavioral response. This judgment then triggers an emotional reaction and often a corresponding behavior. For example, feeling anxious, defensive, or demotivated, perhaps withdrawing, arguing back, or working obsessively to prove the judgment wrong. Notice the crucial link? It's that middle step, the judgment, the interpretation, the story we tell ourselves about the event. That's where the emotional charge comes from. The feedback itself might just be words on a page or spoken in a meeting, the event. The suffering comes from the meaning we instantly assign. "I'm incompetent. This is a disaster." We make these kinds of judgments all the time, often falling into predictable, unhelpful patterns. Catastrophizing. Taking a setback or a potential problem and blowing it completely out of proportion. "I made a mistake in that email now, I'll probably get fired. If this date doesn't go well, I'll be alone forever." We jump to the worst possible conclusion. Personalizing. Assuming everything is about us or blaming ourselves unnecessarily. "They didn't invite me to the meeting, they must be excluding me intentionally. The team project failed. It's all my fault." We take things personally even when they might have nothing to do with us. Mind reading. Assuming we know what others are thinking, usually negatively about us. "I know they thought my comment was stupid. He looked at me funny. He must disapprove." We project our own insecurities onto others without any real evidence. Demanding shoulds, insisting that reality or other people should be different from how they are. "This traffic shouldn't be happening. He should have known better. Life shouldn't be this hard." These shoulds set us up for constant frustration and resentment because they argue with reality. Labeling, attaching fixed, negative labels to ourselves or others based on behavior. I forgot the appointment, I'm such an idiot. He made a mistake, he's completely unreliable. These labels are overly simplistic and deny the complexity of human beings. These automatic, often negative judgments act like distorted lenses through which we view the world. They color our experience, fuel negative emotions, and often lead to unhelpful reactions. So what can we do? Can we change these deeply ingrained patterns? Yes, absolutely. The key lies in creating a little bit of space, a pause between the event, the impression, and our habitual reaction. It's in that space, however brief, that our power lies. It's the space where we can become aware of our automatic judgment before it completely takes over. Think of it like hitting the pause button on a video player just before the dramatic reaction scene. In that pause, we can practice the art of examining our initial judgment. We can hold it up to the light and ask some clarifying questions. Is this thought really objectively true? What is the actual evidence for and against it? Am I jumping to conclusions? For example, is it fact that I'm incompetent? Or did I just receive feedback on one specific report? Is this way of thinking helpful right now? Is catastrophizing actually helping me solve the problem, or just making me feel worse? Is blaming myself constructively leading to learning, or just paralyzing me? Is there another, perhaps more balanced or constructive, way to look at this situation? Can I reframe this? For example, could this feedback be an opportunity to learn and improve? Maybe the traffic is annoying, but it's outside my control. Perhaps I can use this time to listen to something interesting? What part of this situation is actually within my control, and what part isn't? Connecting back to the dichotomy of control. Can I control the traffic? No. Can I control my reaction to it? Yes. Can I control someone else's opinion of me? Not entirely. Can I control my own actions and integrity? Yes. Can I separate the objective fact from my interpretation? What actually happened versus the story I'm telling myself about what happened? For example, fact, it's raining. Interpretation, my day is ruined. Fact, I made a mistake. Interpretation, I'm a failure. This process of pausing, observing our thoughts, and questioning our initial judgments isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending things don't hurt. Emotions are natural human responses. Instead, it's about ensuring our emotions stem from a clearer, more accurate perception of reality rather than from distorted, unhelpful interpretations. It's about cultivating a degree of objectivity, seeing things as they are without automatically adding layers of unnecessary negativity, personalization, or catastrophe. The ancient Stoics called this the discipline of assent, learning to give our assent, only to judgments that are accurate and rational, rather than automatically buying into every fleeting thought or impression. Mastering this skill, and it truly is a skill that requires ongoing practice, is profoundly liberating. It doesn't mean difficult things won't happen anymore. Life will still present challenges, setbacks, losses, and frustrations. But our experience of these things changes dramatically. We become less like a small boat tossed helplessly on the waves of circumstance, and more like a skilled sailor who can navigate those waves with greater stability and resilience. Why? Because we learn to manage the meaning we assign to the waves. We suffer less from our reactions to events, even when the events themselves are painful. This leads to greater emotional stability. We're less prone to explosive anger, crippling anxiety, or deep despair triggered by everyday occurrences. We develop resilience, bouncing back more quickly from setbacks because we don't automatically interpret them as personal failures or catastrophes. We find a deeper sense of inner peace, a calm that isn't dependent on external conditions always being perfect, because we know our peace comes primarily from within, from our ability to manage our own minds, our own judgments. This is not an overnight transformation. It's a lifelong practice. It requires patience, self-awareness, and a willingness to gently challenge our own ingrained thought patterns. There will be times we forget, times we react automatically, times we get swept away by old habits. That's okay. The key is self-compassion and gentle persistence. Each time we manage to pause, each time we question a negative judgment, each time we choose a more balanced perspective, we are strengthening that inner muscle. So the invitation today is simply to start noticing. Pay attention to your own reactions. When you feel a strong negative emotion arise, see if you can gently hit that pause button. Ask yourself, what was the event? And what was the judgment or story I instantly told myself about it? Is that story really true? Is it helpful? Just bringing this awareness to the process is the first most crucial step. The ultimate freedom lies in realizing that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we hold immense power in how we choose to interpret and respond to what happens. Our judgments shape our reality. By learning to choose them more wisely, we unlock the door to lasting inner peace and resilience, no matter what storms may rage outside. Start observing today. The power is within you.